What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I have a 2015 F350 DRW, and I had to replace some components on the e-brakes. Well, somebody else did, and it was messed up. So now we have to put it back together, and a question that we get asked on the channel a lot is how do you tighten this nut and not destroy your axle end? This is for your full floating Dana axles on your F-Series trucks. All right, guys, let's check this out. All right, everybody, thanks so much for coming back and checking us out. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. One of the reasons why we're here tonight is to talk about how you fasten your hub back onto your full floating axle. This is the hub and rotor assembly. I've already pulled this off and taken the other side off. Down here at the bottom where it is meeting the floor, you can see this bearing here goes in the bottom side here, and that nut tightens everything to this axle end. Now, one of the things that you have to do when taking this off is installing a new wheel bearing seal, and it apparently looks like somebody failed to do that when they pulled the hub and rotor off. So the issue that I was having is this one was tight, this one was completely missing, and this was actually stuck and caked nastiness down here in the rotor, and this was all loose. Whoever pulled this off kept pulling and pulling, didn't de-adjust the emergency brakes, and kept pulling and actually deformed the backing plate. So what I wound up having to do was take both those pins completely out and shift the emergency brakes forward, and I was actually able to use my flat bit and air hammer to do a little whoop, and now we have the brake shoes sitting just like they should. They're nice and tight, and comparing it to the other side, it is a hell of a lot better than how it came in. Now, I've already went ahead and cleaned up the brake shoes, de-adjusted the star wheel adjuster, and got my cavity open so that I can adjust it. I've done that for both sides, brake cleaned, shop air blowed, everything. I'm ready for installation. But the next thing that I'm gonna have to do before I put this hub and rotor back on is I'm gonna have to replace this seal right here. And I'm gonna be keeping the bearing. So one of the things you're gonna have to do is either slide hammer this out or get some type of seal puller to get this seal out of the back of the rotor, or I should say the hub. So let me get set up. I'm gonna get the new seal ready to go in, and I'm gonna see if I can briefly show you how we're gonna take this out. All right, here we are over the rotor, over the hub rotor assembly. And what we're gonna wanna do is, well, this is what I've found to work, is if you grab a thin screwdriver such as this, you're gonna wanna first flip the rotor and hub over. Mind you, this is very heavy. And you're gonna want to go in between the bearing. It's kind of hard to see, but there's only gonna be enough room to fit a small screwdriver, and what I'm going to do is pound right on the back side of the seal. You guys might hear it release. That was it. I gotta flip this heavy thing back over, revealing our bearing and our seal. We're going to be reusing the bearing, not the seal, so when you guys take these rear rotors off and hubs off the full floating axles, you need to inspect the bearings. This is very dirty. Had new fluid in it. So whoever did the repair on the emergency brakes, for one, didn't do it correctly. But the bearings look like they're all right. We'll give them a little more cleanup. Rear one, or the inside one. Here's the outside one when you first took the big nut off the end, which we're going to go over the torquing procedure. And I have the tool number. I'm going to put it in the description so you guys can pick that up. It's got 2 different sizes on it for the 450, 550s, and then the 350s. All right, flipping back over, you can see how nasty this thing is. It, whoever did it obviously didn't replace the seal, which is a no-no. You always have to replace the seal. And what wound up happening is it leaked all over on the inside of the emergency brakes and so forth. So we're gonna have to clean all that back out because I'm not gonna install this nasty rotor with all of the remnants of the rear axle fluid. So hashtag brake clean mafia. Man, that is nasty. Definitely needed to be cleaned out. Obviously been leaking for a while. All right, let's go ahead and clean this out. I guess I'm gonna spray this off with compressed air. I just wipe this out. All right, rotor's all clean. Now it's time for bearing installation and seal. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of grease on here. Part of the workshop manual procedure is it wants you to put a little long life grease. Gonna use the M12 here. Gonna put a little grease here on the cage. I'm not going to be packing it like a traditional wheel bearing. I already have grease and oil down in the axle tube. Now if I was doing a complete rebuild, then I would want to put, you know, pack the wheel bearings conventionally. So get that in there. All right, wheel bearing got some grease. Gonna have to set that puppy right down in there so it's nice and flush with the seal ridge. If you guys have been wondering what the seal part number is, this is the seal right here. What's up, brother? Let me go ahead and set the seal right in here like that. And what I found, I don't have a driver. I'm using just an old bearing race, and you're gonna want, you know, whatever you're gonna use to push this against, make sure it, you know, it's sitting on the big metal ring. And set that into its groove. And what I'm going to use is a piece of wood, and I'm just going to drive the seal in. You guys hear that audible change? That's when it was bottomed out. Seal is installed. All right, here it is. Now it is time for rotor and hub installation. This is a heavy mother scratcher. I have already went and cleaned off the whole axle end, cleaned up the emergency brake shoes, de-energized, not de-energized, but, you know, loosened up the emergency brake. So hopefully the rotor just slides right on with no issues. So yeah, let's get this on. All right, here we go. Rotor on the floor, rotor coming up. This is heavy, man. No joke. Come on, mama. All right, we gotta slide it on a little further. Go around the emergency brake shoes. And I feel like the emergency brake shoes are holding up. Oh. Is it? feel like they are. Rotor's got to come off. All right, let's back off the emergency brake shoes. Or were they just not centered all the way? Back them off. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, shit's heavy, man. Okay, let's see how far we get it now. Why does it seem like this is crooked? There we go. All right, I had to move the parking brake shoes, but it's on. I don't know why this individual would have put silicone on the end of here. Yeah, she's freaking on, you guys. That was definitely heavy. Whatever you guys are gonna do to get this on and off, just be careful when you're lifting it. All right, next bearing, I'm gonna put just a little grease in this one too. Going in with the M12. Okay, outer bearing. I don't know why they shut the lights off on us. Outer bearing going in. This is just goes in, you know, tapered side in. And then comes the big question and big wonder is, how do you go about tightening this nut? So this is only going to go on one way. I don't know if you guys paid attention when it came off, but there is a tab right here that's going to line up with the tab in the axle end. So you want to put that on there, put the tab in the tab hole. And then I showed you the tool number for the Lisle kit that you're going to want to use. This is for the Dana 80, and then vice versa if you had the other Dana. So we got the bigger one. We're going to go ahead and get this started by hand. It's like a ratcheting tight nut. You can hear the ratcheting mechanism. All right, so rotor's spinning. That's pretty good by hand. Still spinning. All right, so let's go to the workshop manual and let's see what it says for us to do. Now, if you guys have been wondering where to find this information, I'd highly recommend you to check out motorcraftservice.com, because that is where you're going to be able to find all of the info that you need. So F350, we need wheel hub, and here we go. We're going to go down to installation. Position the rear brake disc on the rear hub and install the 8 bolts. We aren't doing that because it was already installed. Here you see the guys referencing that tab we just talked about. Okay, The following hub nut tightening sequence will prevent side-to-side end play of the hub and brake disc assembly. Apply inward pressure to the socket and separate the ratcheting component from the hub nut. To adjust the bearings, tighten the hub nut to 70 foot-pounds. So we're going to do 70 foot-pounds on that outside nut going to the hub and rotor assembly. So let's come back over here and check this out right here. 70 foot-pounds right here. Let me get the torque wrench. Let me get the torque wrench for DS Trucks, because I know he's tripping. All right, we have 70 footies, boom, right there. Let's get our socket back. All right, let's check 70 footies. Okay, it's starting to get tight now. Here we go. Oh, I slipped the feet out of the nut. All right, 70 footies, where you at? Okay. 70 footies right there. Now, the next step that we have to do after tightening that to 70 footies is we need to now back off the hub nut 90 degrees. 90 degrees we have to turn it, and then we're going to be torquing it to 18 foot-pounds. So backing it off 90 and then 18 footies. Okay, an easy way to back it off 90 is I am going to put my ratchet here. 90 degrees would be my ratchet facing the floor. So I'm gonna back it off 90 degrees. Okay, 90 degrees. Now we have to torque it to 18 foot-pound. All right, 18 footies, here we come right now. You guys can hear that. I have achieved 18 footies right here at the rear axle, hub, rotor assembly. Let's give it a spin. Okay, let's check the side-to-side end play. Okay, I don't have any. Wipe this grease off. Now, after doing this, what you're going to want to do, because you don't want to do what this guy did and reuse this seal at the bottom of the axle shaft. Well, he didn't put any seal, and now there's a bunch of silicone. Well, that's not right. There's supposed to be a rubber seal sealing against this right here, and that is what sets and seats the axle shaft right here into this hub end. So I need to get those from parts. Gonna go ahead and tighten these down, cross pattern, and I'm gonna install the brakes and take this thing for a road test. I'm gonna make sure the axle fluid level is full before I take it out, take it for a spin, get all the axle fluid out into this hub, and then double check the level, and I think this thing's gonna be good to go. And don't forget to readjust your parking brake shoes, because you want just a slight drag on here when you have the parking brakes nice and adjusted. Let me know if this helped you guys with tightening and torquing. This is going to go for pretty much all of your Ford full floating axles, 250s, 350s, 450s, and 550s. Let me know if this helped. I thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you guys all next time. See you.